Hello again, traders, and welcome back to the Hot Stocks Outlook for June 7th, 2024. I hope y'all are having an excellent week out there in the financial markets. As always, we've got plenty to cover here in our VantagePoint Hot Stocks Outlook. So if you haven't already, make sure you go ahead and click on that link down in the description below, and you can sign up for a live demo to learn all the specifics about how these predictive technologies can help you make much better trading decisions in the marketplace. So as we typically do, we like to get a broader view of the markets via the SPY ETF, right? So this ETF that models the S&P 500. And so what we can see here is year to date now, we're up about 13%. So we had some really nice moves for the first half of the year. Past really month and last few days have done really well. And so what we want to do is, of course, identify where is that strength in the marketplace. And this is what we do each week, right? Identifying where those VantagePoint predictive indicators are getting decidedly bullish. And so what we'll do here is we'll start out with shares of Robinhood, hims and hers we looked at last week. So we'll sort of update that chart. We've got Kroger, Abercrombie, and last Palantir. And so starting off with Robinhood, this is a really great example of how all of these predictive indicators work together to round out the entirety of that predictive forecast. And so what you're seeing on the chart here is daily price action, right? So each one of those candles that you see, that's going to represent a full and complete trading day. And that, of course, is the actual market data. But what you're going to notice against that market data is there is a black line value and a blue line value. And so what we need to understand is, okay, well, that black line value that you see on the chart there, that is a regular simple moving average, or what we would refer to as the actual simple moving average. In this case, it's a 10-period simple moving average. So it adds the last 10 closes together and then divides by 10. And what that does is smooth out the existing price action. And it lets us know where the market has been. But obviously, a trader needs to be ahead of that next move in the marketplace. So what we're doing is really using that as a baseline, and we can compare it to this blue line. And for this number, essentially a prediction of price to be calculated and plotted on the chart, well, this is where the technology of artificial neural networks come into play, and they're performing what we would call intermarket analysis. And so this is very important because Robinhood has markets that are known to drive future price, right? So there's neural networks that are able to decipher some of these market relationships, and it's found dozens of relationships that are playing into the future price of Robinhood. Now, this can be things like, maybe some financial ETFs, maybe some individual stocks, things like the value of the dollar index, which has a big effect on the broader stock market, global interest rates, as well as things like global commodities like gold, oil, even agricultural commodities. So it's looking at all the markets that are relevant to the target in question, the market that you're doing analysis on or trading, and saying, how are these intermarket relationships affecting Robinhood? And so whenever we see, in this case, this blue line crossing above the black line, what's happening is it's skewing those intermarket relationships to say, look, prices are going to start moving up and higher, and therefore you might want to take a long position. So as long as that blue line is above the black line, well, we'd expect the overall trend to be to the upside. And we do this every week, looking at really all the set of these indicators in the exact same way, right? So we get that blue line over black line, trend is up. But then we can look at how do all these other predictive indicators work? Things like the VantagePoint predicted range, which you see on the right-hand side of the chart. And then this bar you see at the bottom that goes from green to red and back to green. This is a 48-hour indicator. So let's go ahead and go through this. Now, once the overall trend direction is to the upside, you see we get about a 29% rally. But of course, the market isn't going to go straight up, right? We'll have these periods of weakness, which in an uptrend may actually signify a good opportunity to buy on the dip or add to a position. So you'll notice as the neural index goes bearish here, what it's doing is forecasting, again, just short term. It's always looking ahead 48 hours at a time and projecting, okay, are we skewing to the bullish or bearish side? And so you see as this neural index goes bearish, you get a couple of days of weakness. But like I mentioned, that may actually indicate when you might want to look towards things like your VantagePoint predicted highs and lows to get a good intraday price. And so what we can do is actually bring up those predictions against the actual market data, and you see how this works, right? As we get this weakness in the market, VantagePoint adapts, and you see how this predicted high and low range, which is always forecast ahead of time for the next trading day, is letting you know, look down towards these predicted lows to get an entry on the bullish side, assuming the overall trend is still up, which again, that blue line over black line is still intact. And so you see the overall trend moves higher. Again, we get another neural index bearish, some lower lows over that subsequent 48-hour price action, but really offering up excellent levels to add to the position. So you see here, you got 1, 2, 3, in this case, it'd be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 entries. And even just this past week, you see from these entries down at this range, well, you're getting a nice move just over the past few trading days, about a 10% rally in shares of Robinhood in just the past 3 trading days, right? So a lot of volatility here, but we want to understand, where did that trend start? Is it likely to continue? And where are the best places to participate on a short-term basis? Now, him and hers, this is a stock we actually looked at last week with NVIDIA. And so a really great example of that blue line crossing above the black line, right? Recognizing that the overall trend is up. Neural index is bullish here. We get a little blip. It goes right back to bullish, and you see that momentum really taking off. But what I wanted to really do here, because we already covered, the previous a month here, is just look at the past few trading days, right? So the trader who understands that, okay, well, we know this isn't an uptrend. We've got a neural index bearish, so we may want to look down towards, predicted lows over the next 48 hours. You see that pretty quickly gets bullish. But we can, again, look at those predicted levels. And you see how if a VantagePoint trader, even just this past week, has some of these levels, well, there's a winning trade here, potentially a new entry here. But just over the week, you're getting about a 7% move from where those predicted lows were hit. This would have been, Tuesday, right? We're looking at Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So again, just highlighting some of these opportunities, and even really yesterday, moving down to that predicted low and then bouncing about 3%, towards the close of the day. So a lot of movement, right? A lot of high percentage moves. But of course, if you understand where to look and then have the right adaptive tools, well, this will help you make the most out of these trading opportunities. And now we're up about 72% in the past 19 trading days on shares of him and hers health. Here's Kroger. So, we don't want to get all wrapped up in just the bullish opportunities, and, we understand where is there some weakness, maybe some future opportunities when we start to see, this blue line cross above the black line. Well, that might be a new opportunity in shares of Kroger. But currently, right, well, we have a lot of weakness here. So for the past month and a half here, this is not an area where you want to be on the bullish side. But nonetheless, we can say, okay, well, if you want to maybe hedge the portfolio and get short, see that blue line crossing below the black line. And in the exact same way, we can look at those VantagePoint predicted high and low levels. Now, remember, we never have these predicted high and lows, or, we always have them the day before the trading day, right? So we really understand before any of these candles are created, what was the expectation going into that day? And you see here as the overall trend is down, well, these predicted highs naturally would offer a better opportunity to short, take profits on shorts for the trader there. And we've gotten a pretty nice decline there. And this just makes it easy, on an individual stock basis, but also on a sector basis to identify, well, where is the strength in the market? Well, here in Kroger and grocery store stocks, well, we've got a 5% decline. Maybe you want to look in some other areas of the marketplace. Now, some retailers have actually done extremely well here. Here's shares of Abercrombie and Fitch. And again, we've seen that blue line cross above the black line. A little bit of, here this neural index goes bearish. You get that weaker subsequent price action. Again, here, a weaker trading day, a little bit of sideways. But as far as the overall trend is very much bullish. And of course, within that trend, like these previous examples, well, let's look towards those VantagePoint predicted highs and lows. Right? So when you have that overall trend direction, we can identify, maybe some areas and grouping of stocks to trade. And what you're doing is you're getting an adaptive forecast, right? So every single day you're getting a new level to say, okay, well, how have things shifted and how should my trading shift, right? So if you maybe not picked up on one day, you have the ability to come in the next trading day and adapt. So you see here all these entries, right? Predicted low, predicted low, predicted low. And most of these predicted lows, once they're hit, you see the market is moving into profit within a day or two, right? Within a day or two, you're almost immediately moving higher. Within here, you get another down day, moving higher, down day, moving higher, 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 higher. So just again, depending on your trading style and time frame, right? You may want to lean on certain indicators more than others. But what's really helpful is to get those really nice entries, ride the trend, right? When you can lock in your stops and understand the overall trend is up, we see, this has led to a 50% rally in the past 32 trading days. There's some really tremendous opportunities here. You see in him and hers and Abercrombie both over 50% just in the past short period of time here. Lastly, here's Palantir. And this is a more recent example, but highlights how actually some of our VantagePoint tools like the VantagePoint IntelliScan can help you identify these shifts very early in the marketplace, right? So traders can actually set up tools to say, okay, well, where is this blue line crossing above the black line, right? Identify where those trend shifts are occurring and really build a case, right? All right, what sort of sector of the market is this happening in? Maybe narrow that down to an individual stock. And then again, you have those adaptive tools that say, okay, the overall trend is up. You see here, you get one area where the neural index goes bearish. You actually get a gap down, right? So subsequent weaker price action. But the overall trend still very much bullish here as we see that blue line above the black line. So here you see hitting that predicted low, hitting that predicted low, hitting that predicted low. and then pretty quickly off to the races here as Palantir accelerates to the upside here. So about a 12% rally, almost 13% just in the past 3 trading days as that strength has come into the marketplace. So again, just wanted to highlight many of these opportunities, but what it's really about is using the predictive forecast to adapt, right? Understand where those market conditions shifting so that the trader can adjust their portfolio accordingly. And so we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. But once again, this has been our Hot Stocks Outlook for June 7th, 2024. Thank you all for watching. Best of luck out there, and bye for now.